Eternal Wave Podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Subterra. We are coming back with you with the third episode of the Eternal Wave Podcast. Today, I have with me a returning guest, Ferretwithahat. To my right,
Here.
I have TheStableGenius, and across from me, diagonally, we have Case6969, the one and only. So, as you all can probably
Yeah.
tell already, everyone here is involved with the judicial system in the United States of Adramas in some capacity. We have lawyers here, we have the federal prosecutor, and we have a judge here. So, today we're going to be talking about the judicial system in Adramas, ways it can be improved, and the history and our situation, and like where the fuck we're at right now. So, Stable, you want to talk about yourself a little bit, things you've done, and
Yeah, sure. I'll give like a quick
yeah.
intro. I am a very active lawyer here in Adramas. Outside of Adramas, I co-run the Stoneworks Law Guild. I've been on Stoneworks for a very long time, and my main thing has been law. So it's been a pleasure to be here in Adramas and be an extremely active and I would like to say important part of this legal system. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Ferret?
I'm Ferret. I'm one of the Supreme Court judges, and I was one of the constitutional founders, so I'm probably one of the best that writes the constitutional law. Simply because, well, I probably wrote two-thirds of the Constitution. Skills out
Fair
there
enough.
somewhere wrote the other third.
All right, in case.
Yeah, I'm Case. I'm the federal prosecutor as of right now. I'm pretty new to Stoneworks. Yeah, I've been an NA member and lawyer for quite some time. Yeah, thank you.
All right, awesome. So the first question I want to ask you guys, and I think everyone should answer individually. Why judicial? Why law? Like what intrigued you about law, especially in the dramas? You know what I mean? Because I've been playing for a long ass time. I never fucking. This is the first nation I've been in with the judicial system. So Stable, you want to start talking about like why you're into the law stuff
Yeah,
and
sure.
like your
I'll
motivation?
give two things. My Stoneworks, where I started for the law, was when I was back in 2021. I was ordered to just draw up a legal system there in Stoneworks. I'd always had a fascination with the law. It evolved into that. I worked with the LTAM UN. We did a whole bunch of stuff legally. I just went around to nations offering them to. I offered them, hey, I'll write your legal system and I'll run it for you. And that's how it started. Here in Adramas, I actually met Elkul and former Supreme Court Justice Moldaris in a group chat in other diplomatic discussions. And Moldaris and Elkul, I had previous relations with Elkul, mentioned, hey, we got a legal system. Well, I invited them to the Stoneworks Law Guild. Moldaris joined. And before I even joined the nation, I had gotten my accreditation and I jumped right in. The first hour I joined Adramas, I had joined the Glustic case, which is a criminal trial, the longest in Adramas' history. So I think my fascination was just it's always been something that I've been good at, that I found interesting, that I felt can add a lot to a nation's lore, to a nation's how the nation's run, to its activity as a whole. So yeah.
All right. I love that. Honestly, I love that. All right, Case, how about you go next, my friend?
Yeah. So for me, I honestly probably want to have a job associated with law in the future. So I mean, what's the best way than to start with role playing online? Like, I don't know. And I do economic law in real life.
Okay.
So for me, it also sort of helps practicing a bit, like speaking and stuff. So yeah, that's sort of my motivation. And also, Malderis also motivated me quite a bit because he was sort of also one of the first people that I met. So I sort of look up to him. Yeah.
All right. And Farrah, what's your story?
We kind of need a law system. We have too many different groups of people in here to where we need a systematic way to handle disputes, which is why we have a law system. And this is a job for yappers, and I am a yapper.
I cannot agree with you more.
Lovely put. Lovely put.
All right. And to wrap this kind of question up, what do you guys have to say to people who are interested in law and the dramas, who they want to be involved but they don't know how?
If I may,
I mean,
honestly, like personally, I would say just don't be afraid. Like, everybody does mistakes and shit, and you know, if you start out and do something, you can't do anything wrong, right? Like, yeah,
Oh God,
that's what I would say.
that's right. Stable, you had something to say?
Yeah, well, I want to tout up Case and I's law school, which is Shiro Law, previously run by Moldaris. After Moldaris departed the nation, he left it in our hands, and that actually has a massive amount of students, including someone at this very table, Ferret, our great Supreme Court justice, who's getting legally accredited now. And
I love that.
it's really a unique system. It's completely free, accessible to anyone, and also there's the Maravilla University. There's different fits for
Yeah.
anyone. No one should ever
Oh,
feel
what the fuck
as though they
else?
are blocked off from the legal system because there's so many universities and ways to get into it. Right? There's Las Vegas University, there's Lasania University, Maravilla, Shiro, as previously mentioned. So yeah, I feel like my biggest piece of advice would just be to take that first step and hope it leads you down a path.
For full, just to be clear, the Marvin University right now, we don't have a judicial program at the moment, but we are working on that and planning on that in the future.
Well,
But
I'm sure when it comes up, it's going to be great.
oh, I appreciate that.
Subterra runs Maravilla. It's a tight ship, and I'm 100% certain that whenever that comes out, it's going to be a new, unique way to learn. So for everyone, there's a way.
All right, God bless. I like that answer. All right, guys. So I want you guys to spitball like, what do you think is before we start talking about what's wrong with our judicial system? What do we think is right? You know what I mean? Because all these countries have judicial systems. Most of them don't fucking work. Why do we work? Why does
Very
our
true.
shit work?
Simple as. If you don't enforce it, nobody's going to bother with it. For us, it's you have a problem, you take it to the courts, and if you don't go to the courts, we won't back you up. And if you do go to the courts, and the court sides with you, we do. We give the courts a bit of bite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also definitely think that the local jurisdiction helps. So that means every singular state, if the case doesn't sort of go outside their borders, they can decide for themselves what they do with it. So that's also a pretty good fit, which is also, I think, one of.
Yeah,
If
I
that
mean,
was different, France would have probably faltered, since that would sort of be an outreach of power,
yeah,
from the
true.
into the state, right? And I think that might have changed a lot. Yeah.
That's also why states are fine with us having a bit of bite to the court system. We only really handle interstate disputes. If it's within your state, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Or through Discord, obviously. I like to build off that, Ferret, just to say that, like, in real life, there are parallels of very powerful organizations such as the UN, etc., but they don't have an enforcement system, so no one takes them seriously. I think what makes the drama stand out is that almost always, when a court verdict is issued on any issue, the president, the executive branch, enforce it, right? Because that's their job. They are the enforcers of the nation. And since the court system is backed up with Discord and in-game power, it's difficult to disobey it, and therefore its words carry weight and authority. Something that's not very seen in nations that are less organized than Adramas.
Yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of fucking shit going on in our government. It's honestly getting to the point where we gotta slow down. But I don't know. I really fuck with our judicial system just because like, if I got fucking like, listen, let me show you an example. Pug, fucking deforested 3 forests in Maravilla, and then he put a
I remember
huge
this
ass
was.
artificial lake. In the past, what
I
I
was the
had to
lawyer for this
do
one.
What I had to do is ban his ass from Maravilla and be like, you're not coming back in, and you're not welcome until you fucking replant that shit. And listen, he did it. I'm a man of my word. So he's back here. He's still kicking it. But when he made that artificial lake, I was like, nah, fuck that. I didn't even DM him. I wasn't like, so maybe see, hey, can you remove this? Nah, I just made a fucking ticket. So I was like,
Yeah.
fuck that. You know what I mean? So it has its luxuries when like you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And even if he was like, "Oh, go fuck yourself," and like quit Stoneworks and didn't give a fuck, the Department of Interior would probably would have handled that. They usually handle everything like that shit. So yeah, they're G's. Judicials are G's. Shit always works out at the end.
And you hired the best lawyer for the job. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That case was interesting. The another great thing about the case thing, and I think Farrah case you guys will agree, is that it's not rigid. New case precedent is being set. We just had the establishment of malicious intent pass. The federal prosecutor thing is probably the biggest thing we'll ever see the courts go through. But besides that, like the courts are fluid with the times and Adramas. Um, and their interpretation reflects that. And I think fair, yeah, I think the courts have seen, even in just your time on the bench, which has only been a few months, I would say, from a lawyer's perspective, I've seen a lot of that.
Pretty much the only active judge right now. Rustin, I believe, is busy with school. I have no clue where Carl Sniper is.
Yeah, where the hell is he? Like, what the?
Well,
Okay, that's
I've
someone
seen him
probably
in
got.
Zaymont, but right now it feels like I'm running a one-man ship over there.
Maybe we got to start.
Cyril's been, oh, he's on the Zamont Supreme Court with me and Dog King. He's usually very quiet, even in Moldaris' time. But from what I understand, he reads every ticket. I think it's just a matter of getting him to take charges can be a bigger issue. But when he does hold a case, they've gone well. I think
No respect for him at
a lot of what he
all.
brings to,
Like,
well,
if we had if we had like a Supreme Court, just like a head of Supreme Court, I would vote for him hands down. No, not even me, not for Rustin. I'd probably make Carl Sniper Supreme Court justice. Just it could be
well,
annoying the silence.
yeah, that makes sense. His experience in the field is massive as a judge, right? And I think that to his credit, he uses it wisely. So I feel like the current court complements each other well. I'm hoping once Rusted's back in full swing, I know he's got finals. I'm hoping he really takes full charge. The cases that we did practice, case I don't know if you remember, Rusted had to go in the middle, didn't he?
Russell had to go into what?
Rusted had to like take leave from the court cases for the past few weeks, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I
I
think I heard something about that.
no looked at the court cases properly yet. I haven't found the time yet to, and I
Mm.
haven't had a need to. So
Yeah.
yeah. Also, yeah, if as an addition, right, I think that might interest Subterra quite a lot. Um, the federal prosecutor role gets access to all the channels, right?
Yep.
And I think the biggest problem is many people have criticized that. At least I've seen it. Um, I think the problem is everyone just assumes the worst, right? I mean, this is a clear example, right? I have access to the court tickets. I have not looked at a single one yet because, well, I haven't had a need to, right? There was no investigation. There's no like legal problem. There's nothing, right? So I haven't had a need to. I mean, I don't think I could have yet, but because of how my school schedule is set up, but I had the chance to definitely, but I didn't because there was no need to. So I think that's also a pretty big point. Just like if the right person is in the position, nothing can go wrong really. So yeah.
I feel you, but it's like for me, it's more of like a God forbid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we can be like, oh, you shouldn't be thinking of the worst case scenario, but what if it happens? You know what I mean? Because God forbid it does happen. So
Yeah.
much sensitive information could be leaked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all like
All
let's take
admin for that
example
stuff?
all my Diplo tickets. Well, that's why it's not easy to become an admin in a dramas. You have to be like really trusted. You have to be active. You can't be dual citizen. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
people
No.
requesting to be the super admin, but a lot of people A aren't qualified, B don't main USA, and C have fucking admin in like 30 other discords. Like literally people come and like, oh, I'm admin in 30 discords. I'm like, why would I have you admin in mine? Like
Yeah. Yeah. No. Definitely. I think the big thing with that is honestly like this role serves. I think in the future will serve such like importance. It will have such an importance that the risk of leaking information is sort of like smaller than the importance that the role has, at least in my personal opinion. I mean, I think you're a bit longer here. I think you can. I haven't even seen the information yet. Like, I haven't had access to any other channels except for all the court tickets, so I can't really tell. I can't tell you what information is there in there or not. But what I think is important is that the federal prosecutor, right? I think it's because in a good government, in a democracy at least, each sort of government position balances each other out, right? And if one goes on top of the other, right, all of the other ones get undermined and could get overtaken by the one that's on top. And that's also how a democracy would get taken over, right? And already has been in quite a few countries. So I think that sort of puts a position that checks that, right? And I think that's really important.
Of course, but I personally don't think that every single channel should be like monitored. Like for example, like I mean obviously it's
It isn't,
law,
though.
but okay, well let me explain why I say this. For example, let's look at all of like the Diplo tickets, right? I'm the Secretary of State, and me and El Cool, we have a lot of shit going on, and like we're doing shit in group chats, we're in other servers, we're using our tickets, we have other tickets open in a bunch of different servers, like we're doing our jobs. And let's say Las Vegas is like, you know what, fuck Adramas, I'm gonna join Padalov. Leaks all of our diplomacy and like our plans and you know what I mean, schemes, however the fuck you want to say it. But
Yeah. But
it's
then
just
you
it's just a massive security risk, especially at a time like this.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if I'll comment on, sorry, Case, but on
Yeah.
just quickly on the classified thing, Ferret, I remember you telling me that from the bill, the only thing that federal prosecutor gets access to is court related, and the cabinet and executive chats. And I also want to point out that this bill went through, I want to say 7 drafts. Um, and the barriers, checks and balances on this bill are unlike any position in dramas. I mean, we set up barrier after barrier after barrier, check after check after check. I know El Cool and Frank contributed some great ideas. So the position is insulated, I think, from the threat as much as possible. We've minimized it to to the extent that I feel we can reasonably do so, right? They don't have access to interior tickets, to Diplo tickets, etc.
Yeah.
So, we do our best. And as far as the balances and checks, I feel as though this role is both balanced and does balancing, right? It keeps I think it keeps everything rolling in a really nice way. I'm interested to see it play out under case for the next month because it'll have to be resynced with the presidency when the new one gets elected.
Yeah, actually, that was also an issue that was pointed out to me. Because initially, at least that's what I've heard from Crazy supporters or Crazy himself. I'm not sure where that came from, but he said that he would want the federal prosecutor election and the presidential election somewhat be synced up. And the issue was is how we're gonna do it. And just to announce it, I would probably then sort of leave the federal prosecution office, and then there would have to be an election in a month. So like, that's probably how it's gonna happen. And as an addition to the checks and balances, I have to say, I would have to agree. There's as much checks and balances as we can even put there, like physically. Like you can't put more without ruining the role. But I do have to agree with Subterra. If a person actually decided to leak information in that position, it could happen. It could, definitely could happen. But I think that's also with any other position. Like,
Of course.
let's say, fucking president, right? If our president happens to be a fucking spy or something, right? I mean, at that point we're already fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's possible too. That's absolutely possible.
That's possible too, exactly. And I think you should always like see like what positives do we gain from this and what could possibly happen, right? And the mark is on possibly, right? It possibly happens, right? It's not sure that it happens, but we know that this position is gonna serve a drama's good, right? And then it's always like, I personally think that this role is really good, and not only because I'm in it, but because I think it will serve good for the future of the dramas. But I mean, only time can tell, as of right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
personal opinion on it.
Steven, I kind of like to talk about what was going on when you ran for federal prosecutor.
Me? Stable Genius?
Stable Genius.
Well, I think that's gonna go down as probably one of the most interesting votes in a drama's history, right? No matter what happens, no matter if I just stay in the NA for the rest of my time, I think people will go back and look at that vote as genuinely one of the most interesting and fun things the NA's ever done. So that vote, for the record, for listeners, is, I believe, to date, the closest vote in NA history by a lot. The vote swung back and forth on the pendulum. I think every single NA member voted, and in the end, it was, I believe, 18 to 8 to 19. So the vote was ridiculous, and it swung every which way. Um, I think that Elkul put it quite well. He says, the right person, but maybe not for the right time. Now, I feel as though I would have done a great job, but I'm so proud of Case, and I think Case is going to do fantastic. So I'm looking forward to the future. My legal activities are only continuing with the school, with legal representation. Um, so yeah, I understand people's reservations. They wanted to wait a bit more and put in what is potentially by far the less controversial, less yapping candidate, and my ever so humble friend Case um, as federal prosecutor, which is I think a great pick. So personally, I'm looking forward. Mostly, I just found I think I must have spent at least 10 hours in NAVC going back and forth with basically every single NA member who joined L Case, I mean Law, everyone. So the discussions were rampant. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if I may
Okay.
add on to that, I honestly have to say that I found it quite sad as to how some NA members went into this, because in my personal opinion, again, that's very subjective, but in my personal opinion, Stable brought
You don't
great
have to get
value,
that for AFK.
right, for himself, and many NA members just weren't willing to change, right? Because as NA members, our job is sort of to do what's best for dramas, right? And again, that's also my personal opinion. I think Sable would have done a great job. Even while this hurts me to say it, I think he would have done a better job than me even. At least in this
And
position. In any other position, we would have to see. But that's my personal opinion. In the position of a federal prosecutor, I think Stable might have done a better job than me. And I think the fact that some NA members weren't to change, even after myself saying that I think he's better, and that I'm pretty sure that he won't do any stupid shit, is like, in my personal opinion, just a bit stupid, right? I mean, if you have your opinion, you can still have
dude,
it.
I get why some people voted no. Like, even if you think Stable would have been a better choice, when you
Yeah,
break it down, you could summarize it up as Stable created a new job that has a lot of authority, then immediately
yeah,
nominated himself for it. This
That's
is
why I
something
The
that,
voted no.
image, the
right?
image, the
This
image
is
wasn't great. The
And
image
it
this
wasn't
is
wasn't
great.
something
I'll
that,
because it's
grant.
stable. It was because if we set this precedent now, someone else
yeah,
can do it in the future. So it
like
wasn't
Oh yeah, the
personal.
the the image the image wasn't great. But what I will say
like
is that
putting up an
if
IRL
I had to,
example. If this we were an IRL country, it would not be uncommon for people to bring up corruption charges against Stable move.
yeah. No, but I have to
well, I
say,
mean,
right?
well, I mean, I could easily show that, and law attested to this during the vote, that this role was created back in December, back during your term sub, which is pretty crazy to say. So this role was not created for me. And Law and I find ourselves on opposite sides of the political spectrum often. But one thing I hope no one here believes about Law is that Law would just say something for the hell of it. So when Law tells you guys that we created the NVC together late December, we have documents showing that. I hope you guys believe. But I understand the image. I understand people's reservations. But um, I felt like they were easily disproven. To be frank. However, it doesn't change from the fact that I feel as though we still got a good federal prosecutor. That I feel like the system is going to be in good hands. And while I feel I would have done fantastic, and I feel like hopefully in the future, as Elkul said, I might be able to do that. I still feel like it's a massive win for the country. The role is here. A competent person is in it. I'll be working in the office, so I'll be there handling the everyday cases and all that other stuff. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where it goes. But yeah, on that subject, I understand the reservations. But um, the role went through so much. The role has gone through it's gone through the shredder like 3 times. Subterra, you have to remember the original legal reform bill thing. Ferret, you
Yeah, I
too,
remember.
right?
Yeah.
So y'all can attest that this role has been in talks for probably the better part of 4 months. So
Yeah, yeah. And if I may finish, I think that any NA member listening, that I think y'all should do your job properly. For anyone that did, thank you. You can still keep your personal opinion, of course, but like only because another person tells you this person is bad, you should always listen to them. Like think for yourself, make yourself an own opinion.
Well, this is
Only
why
so
we have
that
discussions now. We all
yeah,
talk to each other and
and
we share each other's opinions and we make an educated
yeah,
decision
yeah, but
off of
some
those
people,
everyone's opinions and your own opinion.
yeah, but some people just don't change their opinion only
Yeah.
because they think their opinion is always right as soon as they set their mind on it, and I think that's quite a big thing. Not only with Stable's nomination, I'm referring to all the votes. Um, yeah, that's also quite an important thing.
see the NA vote list on that subject. The vote summary for the fourth NA sub Ferret case.
Can see
Vote
it.
Did you guys
What
see
is it?
the vote summary?
Yeah,
What's a
The
vote
vote
summary?
summary for the NA.
The hell is that?
Frank, our wonderful speaker, published a summary showing each NA member's breakdown of how they voted, how many times they voted. It was really interesting. You want the link? It's in NA announcements.
yeah,
Here, we can
yeah.
Fourth
I
check
and
it
think
out.
A. And
I think the problem is, if I'm not mistaken, you would have to quote me on that, but I think he also counted the April Fool's votes.
No,
Yeah,
no way. Did he?
Did
I'm
he?
pretty sure. Maybe I
Did
don't know.
he?
No, I was playing.
I don't. Sable, actually, I think I know you voted on all of the possible things. Did you vote on any of the April Fool's thingies?
I didn't vote on anything April Fools. He can't have
Yeah,
counted
then he
it.
didn't.
Frank's
Yeah, then he didn't.
Frank's a smart guy.
Yeah, then he didn't. Yeah, yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah.
But you want
Also,
to know who ranks at the bottom for the elected representatives for least active?
There's no way. I literally vote on
It's
everything.
his
yeah.
name is his name starts with an S.
Yeah, it's me.
Wait.
I literally
Yeah.
vote on everything. What the hell is this?
No,
Yeah.
obviously I voted on 4 more
Voted
things than
yes,
you. I
voted
mean,
no,
I'm at the
10,
top.
10. That's not bad. All right, you have
no,
four more
you
votes
voted.
than me, bro. Chill.
You voted on 22 things. 22 things is still pretty good. That puts you ahead
Yeah,
of Radio Blade, Ragtag, Ice Knight, Haxer, Carl, PR, Eris, Thorson, John Hamburger, Jade, B. Yoda.
Oh, come on,
Yeah.
Jade. An Eris
Nah,
and
Jade's been,
Thorson.
Jade's been busy. Jade's been busy.
I know, but come on, you can still vote on a fucking thing. It's not that deep.
yeah. We've
At
had quite
least
a
the free
few.
elected seats actually vote. They actually vote, and that's good. And that's really good.
Exactly. No, this is why Gino and I are firm believers we need more freely elected because they actually do
I'm with you
shit.
there because their seats aren't safe necessarily, right?
Right. State
Unfortunately,
seats.
not to
State
call
seats are
people out, but the people
state
that
seats are
vote the least,
retirement.
the people that vote the least happen to be state seats, and I think that comes from the idea that they are safe. They cannot be replaced. That's why what I love about Sub is that Sub throws himself in the freely elected thing when he could just give himself a safe state seat, and I feel like that makes them more accountable to the people. It makes all of us more accountable to the
Yeah.
people. I hold a state seat as well, or a freely elected seat as well, because
Ex-
we have to actually run for
Fucking
re-election, right?
This is why
And
I
that,
always choose
yeah,
to run for free is because like, yeah, I could give myself a state seat, but at the end of the day, like I've been working for this country, I've been the leader, I've been this, you know what I mean? I fucking like the government is 500K of my money right now from the last war. And that's all because, I care about this nation and at the end of the day, I'm making my decisions based on the best for everybody. So, I feel like it would be better representation for my own state if someone from my own state's interest were to be in my state seat. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what the
oh,
state seats are
absolutely.
for. There goes Ferret's
I'm so with
computer.
you. Is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
We have lost the judge. No. All right, I nominate Case.
No. But he should be back in a sec. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it just like, hey, if I don't fucking win, then people don't think I represent them anymore, and it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I really don't think that's the case.
yeah. Wait, case?
Case.
Yeah.
No, Sub, I think you're speaking like pure facts. Pure facts. I was proud to get that freely elected seat. Yeah, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely feels good. I mean, do I do anything? No, but
You do plenty. You do plenty.
I mean, no,
I
I
don't
do a
think. Have
lot
you
for the
written a bill
nation.
yet?
But like when I'm I have a bill in discussion right now. I'm actually gonna post it tonight.
Yeah,
But you
and
know,
even more than that, Sub, you're a top contributor. Like as far as like your actual contributions go
yeah.
to bills, to ideas, to discussions, to votes, and so I think there's a lot of value there that you bring to the table.
Yeah,
Oh, I
definitely. I
thank you,
also
thank
agree.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I may not be making a bunch of bills, but you know, I try my best to vote on every bill, and most of the time, I say for most bills, I give my opinion in the thread.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
we
Just
gotta
a
get
small quick.
we gotta get
But I
Ferret
think
in here.
yeah, ferrets. He's here.
We've lost one.
Sorry about my little crash out. Gotta get my battery fixed on my laptop.
You're all good, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're just happy you're alive, Ferret.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to, yeah, yeah. We don't want to lose yet another judge.
Anyway, what did I miss?
We're discussing about the NA seats,
Yeah.
and freely elected and all that.
Yeah, no, like when Zeno had like his proposal to shift it from 1/3 elected, 2/3 state to 2/3 elected, 1/3 state, I was firmly planning on putting my seat from Veteran on the chopping block because at the time I was in the NA and running solely as an elected member just because I believed in his proposal that much.
I didn't love
'Cause
that
again,
one. I'm gonna be
I'm with
honest.
you.
I enjoyed it. I think it was because basically the entire way it worked was to cut everybody's seat in equal percentage. So yeah, Maravi will be losing half their vote, but so would Veteran, so would Zaymod, so would Muharib.
I know, but some people lost one. Like I lost four. Like I lost more
Right.
seat. I lost more seats. I would have lost more seats in that bill than most states have seats, and that's an issue.
What if right? Well, imagine it this way: if everybody gained one seat, it would be a
Yeah.
bigger deal for states that also had like two seats. Them getting one seat is them
Well,
getting a
take
33% bump.
getting one versus getting rid of four is a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It's a
Yeah.
big difference.
but even for these
It
smaller
was
states, losing
percentage.
that right, it's done off percentage.
No, I know, and
It's
I understand that. I just it just wasn't right at the time, in my opinion. I don't think that
Yeah.
was the move.
And I
Yeah,
have
I
to
mean,
say,
Zeno suggested a lot of state seat reform, hasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think he
he's
also
always
suggested, yeah.
trying to cook with the state seats and stuff. But I don't know. I think the state seats do a good job. Obviously now that we have like the like we can see everyone's stats for the NA. Now we can be like, hey, you're not doing this or he's not doing that. Blah blah blah. So I think Frank gave us a really good tool that we can keep
Yeah.
on using. But yeah, now I know some people aren't pulling their weight. I'm definitely going to address that, and I think I encourage every state leader to address their NA members that are slacking off because at the end of the day, every vote that they don't vote is more representation that you lose.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely,
for all the
absolutely.
state leaders listening, you know, including myself, I'm definitely going to address this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think one big problem with giving every singular state another seat might be overrepresentation, or at least that
here his proposal.
maybe a
That was just an
state,
example.
or
Yeah,
maybe a state cannot put up enough people, right? Because at least for us in Las Vegas right now, right, if we gained another seat, we would have four, and we do have four people that could be put into these positions. It's just that one of these people is already in a freely elected seat, right? And um, it's just that there's some people that we're considering about maybe putting them into a seat, but like it's the National Assembly, right? We can't like if we're only thinking about a person, then we shouldn't put them in, right? If I'm at least that's my personal opinion. If I'm firmly positive that this person's gonna do this position good, I mean, I would obviously ask Troy to put them in, right? Um, but there just aren't any, and if we would gain another seat, right, we just at least I personally wouldn't want to put another person in there because we just don't have people that sort of could fit that role well, or because they're really controversial and yeah,
fair enough.
That's that. Yeah.
On elected things, what do you guys think about where? So, every 2 months there's freely elected things.
Yep.
Most state seats don't go on a timer, but one state that does is Zamoth. Zamoth is about to re-elect their NA seats. Massive candidate list. What are you guys thinking? Do you think we're gonna lose any Zamoth state reps to upstarts by chance?
Maybe. I don't know. I
I
don't.
mean, I
I don't
mean
really
that's
know
kind
any
of how
Zamoth
every
citizens.
that's how every election goes, and you get a lot of the old names that manage to basically manage to do their job. They stay in, but some of the people that coasted, they get knocked off or replaced with an upstart.
Yeah, I think that's good. If I'm checking the stat page correctly, there weren't, uh there's a ton of candidates, and a lot of them are they have a good amount of like street cred, I guess. Like Watermelon, who doesn't currently have a seat, and like people that other people in Zamots know. And so I'm thinking that we're gonna get at least one upset. So I don't think the Annie's gonna stay as the same for that long. And we've also had a like one, potentially two slightly inactive Zamots reps that are going to be defending their seat. So I'm going to be curious to see whether it's just going to be name recognition or people are actually going to take the time to look at vote summary and see if these are the people they want to represent them.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't do that in Marvia because the way our system pretty much is, my province leaders own their seats. Um, when we do like land deals, if it's like a considerable amount of land, then a seat goes into that deal. You know what I mean? Because it's just land equals representation. Because it's like
Yeah.
theoretically more people could fit. Blah blah blah. So I don't I don't decide who my NA seats are, but most of the time it's just my province leaders. But I do have provinces with two, like Australis. So it's Jade and Ember. So if if Jade DM'd me tonight and was like, "Yo, you know what? Fuck Ember," got just making this up. But she's like, "Fuck Ember. I'm make the fucking the seat. Fucking I don't know, Skells or someone random. They would be. I would have to be like, okay, like that's your seat. It's your province.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's good.
yeah,
Actually, I would also like to address the thing with, because many NA members, at least from what I've understood, don't like the fact that we choose seats based on vibes, right? At least that's what the system,
yeah,
how I would describe it, and how many other people would describe it.
Yeah, the vibe system.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to say, any system proposed as of right now is just not efficient, right?
yeah,
Because um, all of the states sort of have different attributes which they're good and are really fucking bad at, right? Um, and I think that, for example, I don't fucking know, Las Vegas, right? If we were to actually go off landmass, right, or at least put this as a factor, and I think Rusted did that in a document, which I still to this day don't understand, like how he did it or how he calculated it. I have no clue. But if I'm not mistaken, we would get a seat from. You would don't quote me on this, but I think we'd get a seat from Valorum, right? Which, in my personal opinion, doesn't make sense at fucking all, right? Because neither does it make sense for Valorum to lose a seat, nor does it make sense for us to gain a seat. So it's like any like sort of proposal except for this vibe sort of thing, as of right now, in my personal opinion, is just not working, or it doesn't work and won't work, in my personal opinion, right? And while I do understand the need for something official, right, I think there's just no way we can do that because there's like every single state is like different, and I personally think we just can't come to a different solution than that.
yeah. I mean, listen, I think there probably is a system we could make. It's probably
Yeah.
gonna take a lot of people and a lot of hours. You know what I mean to do. But
Yeah.
is it possible? I think so. Is it plausible? I can't tell you the answer to that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the census-based system of population? Because we're getting census results in a few days.
That's
I know that's
yeah.
been floated around.
That's stupid, and I can
Yeah,
explain.
census doesn't tell the whole story, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because there's citizens that are just fucking quiet and still productive as fucking shit, right? That doesn't one, and for two, there already has been. I don't know who that person was. I don't remember the name, but they like recruited people only to vote for them in the presidential election,
Blue stick.
Yeah.
Glue stick, my man.
You're
which is gonna be the exact same thing, and we're just gonna put a lot more burden on the elections commission, on the judiciary, probably, maybe even myself, federal prosecutor.
Mhm.
Actually, pretty sad myself. So that's just a system that I think, as of right now, cannot work because it's based on.
In case you don't have to get up for AFK, the AFK doesn't work.
Oh god, I didn't want to say anything.
What do I have to do?
Do nothing. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
Ah,
Case, I don't know
I
if you could tell, but I've been sitting here for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, I did. I thought you all had some Game Pass or some.
No.
Pass.
It's just they disabled it. It doesn't work, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I
Rip.
didn't know.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think again, any system that was proposed has more flaws than it actually gives us positives, right? So yeah, that's sort of what I think is. Yeah.
Sorry,
I
my
just
finger
stood
slipped.
up. My
finger
fault.
slipped. My bad.
See, this is why I personally think just more elected seats is the solution. You want more seats, just win more elections. Simple as that. It puts it up. The onus is up to the state to earn it through elections instead of being given it by the state through an algorithm.
Leave me alone. Yeah, no,
We
definitely.
could force state elections, right? I mean, like if you're looking for a compromise, I'm just spitballing. We could, if you wanted to, remove comfy state seats and add public ability to hold people accountable. Instead of just stripping states of the seats, you could mandate states to hold elections for those seats,
But
run by our
that's
couldn't
not
amazing
getting
happen.
the.
election commission.
Also, the
No.
issue
It was a
is
thought.
the issue isn't the fact that if they're democratic or not. The issue is my state has 3 seats but that was compromised for me when we formed the union over half a year ago. Things have changed. I think my state has earned a few extra seats.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
no,
about the method of seats. It's about how many.
yeah. I think the problem is right. The vibe system also has its flaws, and that would be one of them.
Right. The
That
vibe system was born out of compromise, not out of objectivity.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it just doesn't necessarily give like a clear solution to one of those problems that the seats were just established like half a year ago, or even a bit longer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, over half a year ago.
Yeah, exactly, over half a year ago. So I think honestly the best solution to that is just sort of like try to look for like if a state says, hey, I've been like contributing a fuck ton to this and this war, or singular citizens have been doing this and that. Maybe we deserve another seat, and then go into discussions about that. But that's always like up for debate, honestly.
So and that's also partly what the electoral having it all done elected through proportional representation would do. It's like, okay, yeah, we've done all this stuff, and then the people of Johnson be like, you know what, you did that. We're going to vote for your guy to get into the NA, giving you an extra seat.
Yeah.
Just
Or
it
maybe
puts it up to you to advertise and to do the work, not for the government to give it to you.
Yeah, but then if states sort of haggle for the seats and encourage their citizens to vote people from their state, it's gonna, in my personal opinion, it's probably gonna divide some states a bit more. And in the worst case, a normal average citizen that doesn't feel too much connected to their state is not gonna be able to run for any. At least in the worst case, I would say that might happen. But again,
Because you'd kind of say that already now, anyway.
yeah.
Because now the current thing would be you either got to run and freely elected against a bunch of big names that are basically guaranteed a spot in a freely elected seat. Because, well, you got Subterra, you got Zena, you got Elcode, big
Yeah.
names. Of course they're getting in. Or you got to go for the state seat, which is basically you got to be friends with your state leader.
Yeah, but there's 10 more. If you like count all the big names, there's like 10. Okay, let's even be like 7 more. Right?
The freely elected and most freely elected, it's like I think the only like semi-small name in there is Yeetus, Bodshaw, Goofy Chicken, the Salt Man, and I am both. All the others are big, well-known names before the election.
Yeah.
But
for
why
the
are they
most
well
part.
known? You know what I mean?
Right, they
It's
put in the work.
like me and Zeno and like Elcool, like we fucking we fucking do shit every day. Like we do things without being asked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the fucking war
Yeah.
popped off, and I literally did. I'm like, law. I'm opening a line of credit. There's shit we need for the war that we don't have fucking time to be fucking putzing around. Like, oh, send me this. I'll do this. Like, blah blah blah. So just I'm just gonna. I logged everything that I bought, everything that we needed. You know, everything got approved. And you know,
Yeah.
they didn't come to me about it. I was like, hey, like we need this. Like I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for this. You know what I mean? Like this is part of why I'm here.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Part of I gotta go on a rant about that. You're 100% right about that, and that's also partially why shit like, oh, there's a deep state, or oh, the cabinet is basically a political party because it's always the same people. Drive me up the fucking wall. It's no, it's not a deep state. It's not a political party. It's these are the people that go out of their way to do the fucking work and have proven their competence. This isn't a deep state. It's just, oh, these are the people that are good at what they do. I am going to make sure they are in a position to keep doing what they do. Why are we getting mad that we're putting competent people in positions of power to keep being competent?
Because it's
That's
not
all.
them.
People are mad at
Right,
that,
do we
but
want? Do we seriously?
I feel like there is
What do we want every
a
time a new
argument
president gets
there.
elected for the president to go like be like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure so would be perfect for this job, but he was part of the last guy's cabinet, so I can't hire him. No, that's the exact opposite of what we want,
Yeah.
and we're yet now it seems like that's what people want for some reason.
I don't feel like anyone's advocating for that, but I do feel
And
like
I
there
have
is.
directly heard people tell
No,
me
people are. Yeah,
NBC,
I've heard that a lot.
yeah,
They are. I haven't heard
yes,
that as well. What I've heard is my personal opinion is that I do see some potential for a slight political elite thing to form, although I don't feel as though it's very prevalent or currently destroying democracy or anything. I feel like deep state is more of a meme than a reality. But I will say that I can definitely feel, the fear. I feel like it's rational to be concerned of a potential for that. But I think any wiping of cabinet for the sake of just wiping the cabinet uh, isn't the right way to go, personally.
way
Yeah.
to prevent it. It's called step up and make sure there are other options.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah, no,
I think it's
100%.
interesting that old deep state thing has been very prevalent nowadays, hasn't it?
Hold on, I
Yeah.
remember there's like the Zamots debate, and one of the evidence somebody gave of a deep state was me being a pedantic asshole over the flag. Like, if
Bro,
that's
what?
the most evidence people have, yeah, like somebody said, so somebody proposed changing the flag, and so I immediately I passed a vote to enshrine the flag in the Constitution to keep it from being changed. And somebody's like, see, there's a deep state.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a deep state. That's just me being an asshole over the flag because they made it.
Dude, if
Yeah.
it was the fucking deep state, I would have been like, well, it's my server and we're not changing the fucking flag.
Exactly. That was
Yeah.
just I saw somebody advocating for a change I disagreed with, so I used the democratic process to make sure that change can happen. And there's still a democratic way for a person to reverse what I pushed for.
Yeah,
I feel like we did
personally,
have we did have the
I love it.
incident,
I love our flag, but
we did have some the incident that I felt was slightly undemocratic, but I feel like
what
we're on the up
incident?
and up personally. The banning, but personally, I feel like we're on the up and up. I feel like a lot of people got worried because that was done blanketly and didn't realize that it was resolved correctly within an hour. And I feel like personally it's going well.
I mean,
That's just me
honestly,
though.
I don't view the admin stuff as like it's not political at all. You know, it's not
Mm.
supposed to be democratic. Do we have a democratic system? Yes. You know, it's somewhat democratic, but at the end of the day, that's not what it's. The admin team, like we are here to administrate and moderate the server so it's safe for people who like this is Minecraft shit. Like we don't need to be seeing crazy shit, and there's kids in here. You know what I mean? So we take our shit very seriously. The only time we do step into like a politics side of thing is when we think that there's a like a chance that there's someone in our server with roles that could be leaking information or like working with the ops or like just being a fucking dickhead, you know, like trying to sell us out globally or even internally, like trying to like stir up drama. You know, I feel like that is a point where we do have to step in. But for
We
the
are.
most
I mean,
part,
I have to say,
We are
honestly,
admins of a server that just so happens to be the USA Discord.
Yeah.
That is the best way to put it.
yeah,
We are
I have,
basically sorry. You go.
yeah, no, please continue. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. I have to say with you stable, it was, you'd have to like sort of correct me on that if I'm wrong, but what happened was you were banned on these charges before there was sort of
I'm
a
talking
proper.
about I'm talking about specifically the that's the wrong banning. I'm talking about the banning of a op during the war, of a potential op. The issue was is that it was done by the admin team, without consulting. But I feel like personally after, Sub made some very good points about the fact that, Jude was an op. And I feel like Sub was also very thanks. I feel like Sub was also very he listened when we said yeah democratic process et cetera et cetera, and so I feel like the compromise that we're at now, it's been what, like 2 weeks. I feel like that's been one of the most positive things I've seen, right? Personally, I'm decently satisfied with the way the admin thing is run, although I do feel like if anything has the potential to be abused, it would be that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Ferret just crashed again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we try to we really try to permit that from happening. Obviously, like with every role, you can't, like, you never fucking know. But we really have trusted individuals as admins. We just added a new admin of Radio Blade, so he's an admin now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he the new super admin or what?
No, he's not the super admin, but Ferret is the temporary super admin. But yeah,
Oh, really?
we're trying to find one, and the way that we get a super admin pretty much is I put out a vote to all the admins, and he's like yes or no. I list their qualifications, like the screenshots and the questions I asked them, and then everyone makes a decision. We just did a vote on this guy called Gaming Derp, and he's fucking goaded apparently with like the
Oh,
Discord shit.
I love him. He's so great. I've
But
known him for years since Eldem. He was an OG.
he's not. He's a dual citizen, and he has admin in so many servers,
Oh,
and
Subterra.
he doesn't want to main a Dramas. So like those are some of the contingencies that we do have. We're not gonna add like some foreign guy into it. Like Syndicate asked me to join. Like I love Syndicate, I love you, bro. Fuck with you heavy, but can't be done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's
Subterra, could you?
interesting. Gaming Derp. He's been around forever. Subterra. He's been. I mean, Sub. He has
Oh yeah, I
been
mean I know him,
such an active community member. Yeah, he's been around forever. It makes sense why we wouldn't accept him, but that's a
yeah.
crazy
But
throwback.
he was definitely qualified. You know what I mean? It wasn't personal at all.
Yeah.
We were just like, this is such a sensitive position. We could not let someone like who is just like around the world like that like have access to it. God fucking forbid he fucking makes a deal with Ishinor and then he fucking so I who knows? Who knows? You know what I mean? So we are safeguarding the role vehemently, and I am personally keeping like tabs on all of the admins, and we have like a whole like log list now. We have a whole admin guide. People know what they can, what they can't do, what they're permitted to do in certain situations. But
Yeah, like if we will go through, like, if I'm as admin, if I delete a message, it pops up in a channel saying Ferret deleted X message. Here's what they deleted.
yeah, and then Fair gets a ping from me. Why the fuck did you delete a message?
Yeah,
Like what
exactly.
happened? Like I get
Like
listen.
you remember,
If I know once I know the story and if it was worth it, like you know what I mean, or like something it was something bad, then I'll be like, all right, you're cool. But like
yeah, you
we had an
remember.
incident the other day. Um,
Was that the tornado thing?
no, that tornado stuff that wasn't an incident,
No, it was
honestly.
when I timed out Case for an hour to go to sleep.
No,
Yeah,
I'm still mad about that because honestly, my sleep schedule is really fucked. Like I woke up like, I think when you messaged me September, I woke up and I think that was like 2 or 1 a.m. for me. So my sleep
damn, my
schedule
bad.
is fucked. So no, all good. No, I didn't wake up because
Okay.
you pinged me. I waked up at the exact same time because my sleep schedule is fucked. So I was a bit mad that you
No,
muted me.
don't worry.
But
I chewed out Ferret for that.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's not gonna happen again.
So what happened with the tornado thing?
So pretty much with the tornado thing, a couple days ago, like she kept going on about like her abrasive stuff and like Nazis and fucking naked
Yeah,
women and like all this
Wait,
shit.
pro-Nazi or anti-Nazi?
I can.
Anti-Nazi.
Listen,
Okay.
Tori is not a Nazi. Tori is not a fucking Nazi. She's not like I'm not like I want to put it here first. I am not saying that. You know, Tori is at heart. She is a good person. She has good intentions, but she doesn't know where the line is drawn in Stoneworks discourse. That's the best way I could describe it. And you know, like we understand that Tori has some problems. And we've talked to her about it. So, but I mean, that's none of our business to be putting out there. So we were pretty much just like, hey, like we gave her 3 warnings. 3 fucking warnings after something super fucking bad. And it was bad enough.
What was super bad?
I don't really feel comfortable talking about it. Honestly, it's really not appropriate for Stoneworks.
I know what it is, and I also wouldn't be comfortable talking about it.
It's not appropriate for Stoneworks or with kids.
Yeah, it was really fucked up.
Oh, that's not good.
And we did reach out to staff, so that's why staff was like, hey, we're gonna be like observing your server for a little bit, like, you know, like make sure like no crazy shit is going on. So yeah, but Tori is temporarily banned for 1 week. She will be getting her roles back. She will be back. This is the final straw. You know, because I don't need 4 minors in my DMs like, yo, Subterra, what the fuck is this? While I'm trying to sleep.
Subterra has 4 minors in his DMs, everybody.
Yo, Subterra.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Subterra
Cut the pod. Cut the. You know, honestly, this is a good time. This is a good time to take a break and read some of our advertisement sponsors.
Yeah.
So everyone can look at the camera for me. Our first sponsor for today is going to be the 23, the newest news organization in Adramas, purely
like 80.
focusing on Moravian news. I recommend everyone go check them out. It's the good news, it's the real news, and it's the news you care about. Ain't nothing else going on fucking anywhere else. You worry about Moravia, alright? That's all we gotta worry about. Our second sponsor for today is Mochiko, as usual. Go to fucking Mochiko, get your fucking picks, get your fucking swords, get your fucking whatever the fuck you need. They got it. If they don't got it, let me know. We gon' fucking add it. We got you. We're here for you guys, and we're here to save you guys some money and put some in our pocket. This is a win-win situation. And a percentage of the profits of Mochiko does go to the federal government. So by investing your time and your money into Mochiko, you are investing your time and money into Adramas.
Hell yeah.
Our third sponsor today
Real ones buy from Mochiko.
is going to be the Oracle. One of the greatest one of the greatest news organizations in all of Adramas. You know, they sift through the bullshit and they tell you what the fuck is going on, where the fuck is going on, and why. And they're a very reliable source, and they know what the fuck they're doing. The Oracle. Everyone read the Oracle. Our next sponsor today, the third news organization, Sventizi Times. Sventizi Times, you want to know about all the world shit going on? You know, you want to see it nice? You want to fill out your little crossword puzzle? I do the crossword puzzle every goddamn time. I love the crossword puzzle, and I know you guys love it too.
4 minors.
Okay.
Sorry.
Our last sponsor is not much of a sponsor. It's going to be more of a shout out. We have 2 shout outs. We have the pickle. We have the garlic.
Oh yeah, baby.
And then we have the Shiro Kanizo School of Law.
Whoa!
Everyone,
the best law school.
The best law school. Better than Glacey's. Thank you.
Yeah.
We got one last sponsor sub. Today's episode of the Eternal Wave broadcast was brought to you by NordVPN. Do you hate getting your information stolen by
No, they didn't pay us yet. No, cut. Thank you for taking the short break with us. I hope you check out our sponsors. We are now going to be back to the conversation at hand and at fold. So, you know, what I do want to talk about is we talked about what's right with the judicial, you know, how we play our roles in it. What's wrong with it? What do you think is our biggest issues right now?
Yeah, I have something. A small point. It's getting work on right now. I think Law wanted to work on it, and I might be joining him. but the accreditation system. So basically, when you get to be a lawyer, as of right now, it's any person sort of can proclaim that they have a school and hand out diplomas, um, which is
We need a bar
as
association.
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah, it's really
Probably,
stupid.
yeah.
And I think the two systems that were in discussion were um that two judges have to confirm a school, or that I don't remember the second one honestly, but I think it should be implemented soon because there might be some people that will proclaim themselves as a school and just anybody that's in that school is going to be automatically a lawyer, which is like, I mean, we can immediately draw their certificates from them. It literally says that in the bill, but it's still a small problem which we should get to fixing soon.
No, 100%. We do need to fix that issue. My whole thing is like, who's gonna be in charge of this? Like, if the judiciary is gonna be involved, I mean, honestly, it shouldn't. In my opinion, it shouldn't even be like school should be like accepted or anything. There should just be like a bar association, not like a whole association, but just like a bar. And if you pass the bar, you get the legal accreditation. You know, like how it is. Theoretically, you don't even need to go to school. If you pass the bar, you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well, the issue with the original bar under Moldaris is that it was ridiculously easy, right? Like, so easy.
yeah,
And there's an issue if the bar is set for potential cheating. I like the idea of requiring that someone go to an accredited school. I like that idea. Personally, I'm not against it, especially, well, we can't force them to go if the schools are charging. But if the schools are free and they're not spending any money, then I think it's right to mandate that they go to a school and learn.
yeah,
You know, I don't. I personally don't, just because like even in real life, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I see it like driving a car. Like you can go to an instructor and spend money, but if you know how to drive a fucking car, you know how to drive a car. You know,
yeah,
if,
Take a
if you
driver's
know
test.
if you know all the laws and like, you're active in the NA and you know what the fuck you're talking about, and you pass that bar, I say you should be legally accredited like the rest of them because they know the
yeah.
exact same things. Like you fit the
No,
requirements.
I think,
There's certainly an argument there.
I think that's definitely an argument. Yeah, but I think the problem is if we don't have checks and balances. I mean, that would be one, right? Have a bar, but the problem is each school teaches individually, right? I mean, FC Glacies, no offense, but at least as far as I can tell, their first lesson is a mock trial, which, in my personal opinion, is stupid because how can you do a mock trial if you don't know shit, right? I mean, with a student, you always have to assume ground zero, so they don't know shit about the topic you're teaching. At least that's how I would do it, right? And with with the school just being able to do whatever they fuck they want, that's a really important thing. Because if they teach in their ways and the students understand it and then pass a bar, that's good. But if there's no bar and they automatically pass, that's bad. If the
So
school
if
has
it's
to,
an
if the
That's why
school
I
has
think the
to,
judiciary should make the bar.
also if it's an online test, I could have caught it immediately. First guy, take it, take screenshots, send it to his friends so they can become lawyers too. So they get
Yeah, I
Agreed.
mean,
started.
listen, there people can cheat. You know what I mean? There's not really any way we can safeguard that. But making it like a vibe system, like oh, like we think you could do this, or you know, like the Glacies University's fucking own test could be fucking terrible. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think
but
everybody should take the same test. You know, I think
yeah,
the school should not have access to the questions on the test until like the day of, and I think the questions should like keep revolving, and you know, like just keep
yeah, but
everyone to the same standard. And if one school doesn't
the,
teach enough, that's why you don't go to that fucking school.
yeah, but the
I'd
problem
agree.
is,
I'd agree.
yeah, but the problem is, I personally think that's wrong because number one, that just puts a lot of work on the person that has to actually write the bar, right? Number one. And number two, I think if we have two judges confirming a school, right, or we can even say three judges, right, in the worst case, um, then you just already have that bar set, right? Because in one case, you're saying, hey, the judges should write something where the school has to pass, and in the other case, you're saying the judges should affirm a school that they think they can hand out diplomas, which is you're asking the same person to get to the same goal in two different ways, and in one way they just have more work, right? So I personally think that the confirming of a school is better, and just maybe have like some sort of association that sort of checks that you don't teach stupid shit and just don't hand out diplomas.
But here's the problem with that. Like, we can't keep adding these associations and like these different teams and all this shit. You know what I mean? Because let's be real. Like, the server is fucking. There's too much shit in the fucking drama server. It's a piece of shit right now. If I'm gonna be honest.
I don't agree with you,
It's
Sub.
crazy.
You say it's gorgeous. I think
No,
it's
listen, it
organized
looks
really
nice.
well.
It looks nice, but there's too many fucking channels. That's just it. I know you guys don't see every channel. For the people who do, it's
we see it
fucking
holy
bad.
necessary.
It is fuck. But no, but it comes to a point where shit doesn't. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't. It isn't necessary. You know what I mean? The judiciary could just do the bar. You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be a whole organization for that. And listen, we fucking make the fucking like cabinet fucking shit like we pretty much force all of these groups to like do fucking shit that they don't want to do anyways, but because the fucking NA says it, you know what I mean? If you don't like your fucking job, quit your fucking job. Listen, if fucking the NA, I do my job, I can get a great doc, and the NA can be like, no. Okay, I'm still doing my job, you know what I mean? If I don't like how my job is, I can fucking quit, you know? And I feel like a part of the judiciary job is gonna have to be the bar. I don't trust like these schools like why would I go to Shiro if the Marvia school was better? Like, you know, or not better. I'm sorry, not better. Like, why would I go to Shiro School of Law if the Marvia Law University was an easier test? I can get legal accreditation. You know, like what's stopping me from like being evaluated by this committee, and then they're gonna be like, all right, you have a good thing, and then I'm gonna dumb down the test after. You know what I mean? It can't happen. Everything has to be regulated and changed by the judiciary because at the end of the day, they know most of the laws, they know what the fuck's going on, and they know the laws that are relevant in most cases. So it's gonna be like, hey, do you know your shit for when you come talk to us? Versus, oh, I'm gonna fucking make up a bunch of shit because I don't really fucking, I've only done X amount of cases. Versus people who fucking, their whole job is to handle cases.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do have a judge here to ask.
I agree with Sub. Basically, we kind of handle the courts, and we need a group of people to also handle the bar, so it makes sense to give it to the judiciary.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the problem is, right, I mean, I don't mind if Ferret says that they're able to do it. I mean, sure, that's great. But I think that the opening of, like, sort of these new fucking roles and channels and all of that is because if you do want people to do a good job, you can't force too much on them. It's like in real life, right? I can't be a judge, the president, and a fucking policeman at the same time, right? Because it's just too fucking much, right?
But that's a lot different than just helping make a Google sheet, like not a Google sheet, but like fucking.
It becomes a lot, Sub, with the editing, with the editing to the thing, and also the fact that the judiciary just does so much, right? You know, we got rusted, semi-inactive, CRL can tend to be a little bit quiet. I
know, and I think that's a problem. I think we need people in judiciary that are active.
We actually don't do much. Like
I was about to say that. They don't listen. With all due respect, they don't do that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
most of the time they're waiting on someone to talk in a ticket.
That is exactly the thing. Like, I proposed a reform to the judiciary. One of the first things I did, and it got shut down. And literally, I was told by Brunson and Carl, "This is an amazing reform. The only problem, we don't need it because we don't have enough things to do. Because like the reform would have expanded the judiciary to 5 members, put a cap on the amount of people from each state.
That's been a really big thing. That's been massive.
And it's just like sorry, it's like even at 3, we're kind of a bit bloated because we don't have anything we can do.
Yeah,
just
but
sitting on our ass waiting.
Zeno's been discussing that as well. Zeno wants to push it to 5. The original legal reform bill, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was one of the biggest things that kicked off like legal talk was how, even though it never passed, how much talk the legal reform bill got. That also included a new staggered judge system that expanded the bench to 5 that had co-wrote with Apophis law. So yeah, I mean, I think that's been in talks forever, and I think once the nation grows a bit, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. Case and I have talked about it. Case, I'll let you share.
Yeah. So my personal opinion on it, I think in the future it might definitely be needed. But as of right now, I do have to agree with Ferret. That they at least from what I've seen and from what I've known, is that again they just don't have much to do. But the thing is, right, just to get back to the topic where you said we can just put it on the judiciary, right? The problem is the last two servers, like Eldom and sorry, remind me again what was
Rathner.
Rafnir.
exactly.
The important one.
I think they closed because of cheats, right, and lags and all of that stupid shit, right? We don't have that anymore, so we can assume that the server's gonna go on for what?
Bro, what are you
We have a
talking
ton
about?
of duping. We have so much duping, bro.
Dude, the duping is worse in Apex than it was in... Dude, the duping... They've duped more stuff on Apex than they duped in Rathner during its entire lifetime already.
Rathir and LTM combined.
It's regulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is
Regulated?
not.
Regulated.
Dude,
It's
Yeah,
Fenrir
not
still
regulated.
plays.
Wait.
Yeah, so many fucking odd accounts, it would probably never find them all.
Yeah, but the people get punished afterwards. That's what I'm saying. And I think based on that, the server's not gonna close for like what, another 4, 5, let's be generous, 6 years, right? And
I don't
sure
I don't know if I could agree with you. I mean, I see the server fucking shutting down by end of 2026. That's my personal opinion.
I love Apex. Like, Apex,
I
Apex
think
is for me. I am pure Apex kid. I give it 2026, 2027 latest.
I don't. I think it's got longevity in it solely because I think Minecraft's a pretty good game, and this is a pretty unique
No,
server.
here's why I
feel like
say it's going to
Well,
Our
I feel like
game
it'll
mode
last.
is dying and it's unpopular. You know what I mean? This game mode got really popular during COVID because everybody had nothing to do and all day to fucking do it. And, you know, they could
Nothing
sink all their
new.
fucking time into fucking Stoneworks and be like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking Bardoni. I'm going to take over the fucking server, whatever the fuck, Cartech, whatever you want to say. And then as soon as, like, those videos of, like, oh, 1,000 players simulate a kingdom. As soon as those videos stop getting views, they stop making those videos. People stop finding these servers. You know what I mean? The game mode has been slowly dying. Like, Minecraft itself is not dead at all. Minecraft has 160 million concurrent active players. Stoneworks has a very, 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 very small percentage of that, and we keep losing people. That's not because Minecraft is losing popularity. That's not because of fucking... It's purely just because the game mode we enjoy is not as popular anymore. And it requires too much time
we
for the
failed to
average
gain new
person.
recruits.
Here's what we need, and I'm
And we're
serious.
not
We
getting
need
new
a-
recruits.
we need
Exactly.
a
Well, that's why we're
pandem-
not getting recruits.
Right, we need a pandemic and an election year.
On God. I literally...
Genuinely,
I mean-
I am serious, and I would revive this server.
Stony would be a
People are
billionaire.
The
would be more
measles are back in
politically-
Texas, so maybe.
But it's not an election year. Not an election year. I'm genuinely serious. 2020 being an election year was probably big for Stoneworks because people are like more politically active and motivated during COVID.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't go out and protest that much, but I still got all this like political anger I want to take out. I'm gonna go take it out on a Minecraft server.
What I personally think is gonna make or break this server is gonna be the next 2 summers. You know, every summer everyone comes back. Oh, I'm off school. All the fucking 16-year-old fucking like squeakers are gonna be back on the fucking grind because they're not at the fucking school all day. So
Tony needs to fucking grind the shit out of
Yeah.
his YouTube videos and
But that's the thing,
YouTube
but he doesn't.
shorts.
That's the thing. Stoney will spend all of his fucking time, effort, and money into fucking making these videos, and then he won't fucking advertise it. He'll just ping in his fucking Discord and then forget
sorry?
about it.
He kind of needs to expand his reach a bit. Just he could do the big scale videos. Have like a small team of people that just fucking grind YouTube shorts.
I mean, dude, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when the Adramas video came out, or like the Democracy video
No
came out,
no advertising.
not because there was no ad, bro, just because he had Donald Trump on the cover, 5,000 people left the Stoneworks Discord. Because like he's shooting himself in the foot.
I
A, fuck
remember that,
Donald
yeah.
Trump. B, and why are you making Minecraft political? Like we can talk about politics, but at the end of the
For the
day,
record,
Stoneworks
it's a joke.
Stoneworks is an extreme form of escapism. people who grind this fucking game grind the fuck out of this fucking game, and
Yeah.
they fucking. Dude, fucking look at Fenos. Look at all these fucking kids who don't touch grass. You know what I mean? Like, they make this game their life because they have nothing going in their fucking life for them. So, they spend all their fucking
May I give a
life.
disclaimer?
What?
I do not support Donald John Trump as president of the U.S. This skin is was meant to be politically humorous, so I hope people do not associate me with it. Yeah, thank you very much. So I just wanted to be very, very careful because I know that's a very hot topic right now.
Yeah.
But can I bring us back to the topic of legal stuff? Y'all know I wrote the legal reform bill, right? Well, a lot of stuff there, I think, super simple stuff that I think Case, Ferret, you guys are going to really appreciate it. We don't have a set motions and objection system right now, nor do we have a set trial system or a set.
Oh,
Disable
hello?
died. Did the server die?
Hello? Hello?
Anyways, but yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where he's at.
I guess we're just gonna play around his dead corpse.
Alright, second ad roll. Hold on, let me drag him.
So this is what it's like from the other side when a person dies.
Yeah.
I
Stable?
crashed. My bad, guys. My bad, boys. I crashed. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
back.
My apologies.
No, you're good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna cut it.
I was just about to say quickly that we don't have a set criminal charging system, and we don't have a set sentencing guidelines as far as fines or punishment or warnings go. We don't have a motions system, an objection system. We don't have any of that. Mostly fair. It's off like what the judge is feeling for the system at the moment. And we don't have a sentencing hearing system. It's like the quality of life updates of the judicial system that I feel would be massive. And you guys can give me your opinions on that, Case Ferret.
I mean, I honestly have to say that I find it that it's good that way, in my personal opinion. That's again,
Mm.
I mean, I think both. Oh, sorry. I think both worlds have their positives and negatives. In my personal opinion, as of right now, it's worked out great. At least that's what I would say. With the simple reason that if we don't have these guidelines, it's when you hop into a court, it's not always as strict, and there's not as much pressure. With, for example, let's say you're a private person, you're representing yourself, and you have no clue what the fuck is going on, right? I mean, of course, yes, we added the federal prosecutor, which should try to provide a public defense, but if you're broke as shit, and you sort of have no clue what the fuck law is, like, and there's no public defense provided for you for many different reasons, whatever that might be. I personally would want to be in a system where sort of the judge like can explain everything to you, where the other side doesn't motion for I don't fucking know, fucking
Motion for suppression of evidence or something.
like like for anything, right? That's just my personal opinion, of course. I mean, I like it that way, and I think that the problem is the judges can interpret a lot, and I think that's what's great, because we also have that in Germany, right? That's actually a thing for us. We have exactly a court for that. The highest court in Germany is the Bundesverfassungsgericht, and its job is to interpret.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Yeah. The Bagula speech creed is my favorite too.
Yeah. No, but the court just interprets everything, and that's the great thing about it, because
Did I put you?
its only job is to interpret shit, and it does it great, right? It established in like I think 1939, 93. My fault. 93. I think they established base rights for women and men, because there was like an article that says every person is the same in front of the law, and they interpret it as everybody should be same in front of the law, including women, which at the time was sort of like disputed and shit. And then from that point forward, women sort of had better rights. They were treated better and stuff. So I personally think this applies also to this server, because it's the highest court, right? And if the highest court is left up to interpret, that might cause a lot of problems, but in my personal opinion, it does it did and will do and does more good. Right. That's my personal opinion.
I feel you.
Yeah.
No, I definitely feel you. I don't
I do
know.
want to say I feel as though a trial system of some sort, like I said, opening statement, presentation of evidence, witnesses, I feel like that would be beneficial. That was actually what Law has, I think, been one of his main things to push for, is a
Yeah.
set trial system, a setup, and a set as to what motions and objections are allowed, putting them down into a document where they're defined for the court. So it's not just like just thrown randomly. So I really feel as though there is a lot of benefit there. Although I understand. I think one of the best things that we've just done is the defense thing. Now people will have a much better chance of getting a competent lawyer to defend them or at least give them advice. And I credit both the bill and the judiciary for setting up the outreach tickets.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hope they do a good job rooting for all of them. I don't know. I don't really have much to say on this topic because I've been sued. I've sued multiple people. Every single time I just let my legal team take care of it. So I just make the ticket and then I look away. I
I'm over
don't.
here with the
Yeah.
I'm over here with like the young thug legal team. Yeah. I'm serious. You got an all-star lineup to defend you on some of those cases.
Hey, bro. You gotta do what you gotta do.
No, facts, for real.
Yeah.
Some of the most interesting court cases that I've seen, as I've been tossed around into a bunch of them, the Glue State case was quite fun.
I was a
I enjoyed
stinker.
that
Yeah.
case. That case was wild, wild.
Hmm.
Other cases that went to court, the Drew case. That is probably my best case performance. Fair, you weren't on the court for the Drew case, were you?
No, the judiciary, but I still read that as an admin.
What did you think of it?
I mean, you got a spy, so job.
Oh, no, I mean like thank you, I appreciate it. But specifically, I feel like it set a lot of great precedent because I think was that the first time someone was actually convicted? Well, it was the first time since I've been in a dramas that someone's been convicted of treasonous action and sentenced fully through a court case, which personally I think was a great success.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think it was a great success. Case, what are some of the court cases that you think were the most important?
Mm. You'd have to think, Mia. You'd have let me think on that. I mean, honestly, I think the one where we both asked for the Speak and Mace Act. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, the where we challenged the constitutional amendment. That
Uh,
was a bill in the NA. That was massive. You want to explain all
I
that?
think I have to honestly say I'm really happy that honestly Ferret got it. Oh, sorry, that I swear I swear I'm sorry. Um, my
Case.
No, no, no.
I
I
swear.
put the weapon down. No concealed carry and
No
coastal
guns,
Ordell.
no guns.
I am
Sorry,
a
guys.
Texan. Weapons are my religion.
Listen, I will hit you with this fishing rod and this sword.
But I'm happy that the judiciary is so open to sort of requests, right? Even though they're not officially established. And actually, that reminds me, I think I still have to put up a bill that establishes that, if I'm not mistaken. But back to the topic. Um, I'm really happy that sort of the judges are so good. Thank you, Ferret. Appreciate it. You're really good. Thank you. And I have to say, for the case, it was like the case itself wasn't interesting, but its content, um, because sort of the if I can elaborate, the Speaker and Mace Act says that the speaker can push back bills up to 48 hours if in his estimate it's needed, which in my personal opinion is fucking stupid, right? Because if you think about it, that's just saying, hey, I can limit what DNA does, which is like, and I can put that power on a singular person, which is fucking stupid, right? Um, because that's a fucking legislature we're talking about. Um, but I was happy that we challenged it, like Stable and I, that we challenged
I was
it.
too. I was too. And I was happy
And
Ferret, you ruled on it.
yeah, and I'm happy that
Or the
Ferret
defense that
ruled.
was given for why that's to be kept was, and I quote, "Well, there's nothing in the Constitution stating the NA has the right to vote on stuff or put votes to the floor." I'm like, oh, fuck off. That is implied so heavily that,
Is
Dude,
that what
this
they
is,
argued back? Frank and
yes,
Atomic?
actually.
dude,
Wow.
yeah, the legislature is not allowed to vote on legislature. Yes.
Yes,
Everyone.
actually, they straight up said, and they literally said what their justification was just, and I quote, "Yeah, we just want this to stop votes that are annoying."
Ah,
Okay, well that's just
yeah,
that's gonna be the easiest vote.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, dude. Mm.
That was a good challenge. There was some controversy after the fact, but I feel like it set a good precedent now as far as challenging things as unconstitutional. There's a good system going. Personally, I think that's a great pick case, honestly,
Yeah.
for an impactful case. Sub, Ferret, you guys have a case you guys will consider impactful?
Fair, you want to
Probably
answer?
basically every case involving Atomic and Carl going at each other.
Oh god.
Those two
Besides that,
Leave
created
them
the legal
alone. They
system.
already took all the heat on the first episode. Leave them alone.
all right, all right, all right. Sub, what are you thinking?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the glue stick case.
Great
I
pick, great
think
pick.
it set a really good precedent, and like anyone could do scumbaggy things. At the end of the day, we will find your ass, and we will know, and we will take care of you. And isn't that right?
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
You know what annoys me about that case to this day?
Mm.
The message count is 997.
It should not
Three
have been that
messages
long.
off. It wasn't even that case never even went to trial. That
Oh
is
my
how long
god.
that case, if it had gone through the full cycle, I'll bet you any money would have gone over 2,500. It absolutely, we were this close to getting it over 1,000 messages. It's still by far the longest court case ever, but it should have gotten there. It should have gotten there, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great pick. That case was super impactful. Uber impactful. I can't believe it was just I just thrust myself into the case day one. That was crazy. Ferret?
Definitely.
Insane of you to do.
Yeah. The Zammot Shiro thing was also big for interstate disputes,
Yeah. No, that
right?
definitely was.
That established a lot. Yeah. Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
going a little schizophrenic right now.
Gentlemen, you can't
Um,
fight in here. This is the war room.
my sword is it's calling for it, but I'll go use it on some Ishkanorians later. I'll keep it in my pocket. Uh, but yeah.
All right, guys. I think we had a really good conversation today. Does anyone want to have any closing statements for the audience?
Just remember that, the law is for everyone, and I hope to see you guys all participate accordingly. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Case.
I'll be outside your house with a crowbar.
This sword will be used if you do anything illegal.
No, I'm not
That's
talking about.
not.
I'm not talking in game. I'm talking IRL. I'll be outside your fucking house with a crowbar.
Oh my god.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think,
I believe Farrah would do that.
yeah, yeah.
You for people to say Discord's game. Fuck that. I'm bringing the game to real life.
Yeah.
Hey, don't
I
get
think
banned. Don't get banned.
I think the message is don't fuck with us. We'll get you.
Damn.
Yeah.
This is a wild message.
We'll find you.
Yeah. Because we have
King
Ferret,
Vaughn starts playing.
and we have the legal team, sort of swing your ass. Yeah. If you do something wrong. Yeah.
Congratulations
Ferret.
to the new federal prosecutor.
Yeah, congratulations on your victory.
Yeah. Thank you. I beat you, Stable.
No, you beat Pug. Pug got 10 votes.
That was tough,
Yes.
dude. I'm surprised Pug lost. That was a really close one. Closer than Stables, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't Pog's entire accreditation just they're a yapper?
I mean, they do have legal
Yeah.
accreditation, but that's besides the point.
That is true. That is true. They are legally accredited. I always forget Pug's legally accredited.
Yeah, all right. Shout out to Pug. Shout out to other people who are involved in the NA and shit. But this is going to be it from us for tonight. Thank you for listening. If you listened through all the
Thank you
way,
for
once
coming.
again, like tradition, you're an idiot. All right. Goodbye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you for
Bye.
listening. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.